in a different place. This is actually the dorm. So well, just temporary. This is just temporary. Yeah. And yeah, all right. So
Is
would you
this
like?
at the Buddhist retreat?
Yes, yes, it is. It is. It's but it's for the layperson. It's right now this place is for the laymen, not the monks. So yeah. All right. So would you like to start by
So
sharing
you're not a
some?
monk yet, then?
No, not
Surely.
yet. Probably not in this lifetime. I don't see that as happening, at least in this lifetime. Yeah, maybe next life.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
So yeah, all right.
Oh, maybe you've
So
already been one.
yeah, all right. So okay. Oh, it's quite possible. It's quite possible. Yes. Is the
So it's
network
what? It's
coming?
about eight
I think
o'clock
the
in the
network
morning, is
is a
it?
bit.
Yeah, your network's
No,
a
it's
bit gitty, I think.
7 a.m. It's 7 a.m.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah, but it's completely dark. You know, this is really it's 7 and
Is it
so
snowing yet?
yes, already. How about your place? Is it snowing?
No, we had a little bit, just a little bit a couple of days ago,
Oh, a
but
little
nothing
bit.
much.
All right. It's been snowing since November, already 3, 4 times from what I heard. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's 7 degrees. So it's
Okay.
kind of,
All right.
we,
So,
we get a much nicer climate than Canada.
all right. So, would you like to share a win or two on your side?
Yeah, so I took most of last week off.
Okay. Okay.
Um, so, but what I did is I finished the book
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Undermine, which was really interesting because that the reason why I did that was because I'm never really satisfied with the progress that I make. So, regardless of where I'm at, I want to be further along the road. And what I wanted to understand is why do I feel like I'm not moving forward? And and so and indeed, if it's not just a question of why do I feel like I'm not moving forward, why am I not moving forward? And what is it that's stopping me? What's preventing me from doing more than what I'm, doing more? And so it's really interesting because it has a bunch of different tasks that you do, and it made me realize a bunch of things, and it took me down a pathway that I didn't really anticipate I was going to go on, and I came up with some ideas that I didn't even expect to feel, but they are significant enough. I mean, literally, there were days last week when I was. Oh, sorry, was this the week before actually?
You mentioned about Undermine when we last synced last week, last Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, I did some more stuff, and basically it really helped coalesce where I want to be and what I want to do. And I think it's interesting because it ties in healthy deserve levels, tiny habits, future self, 4Cs, all of this kind of stuff. It's all together. And I think that what one has to do is that as an individual, you have to find out the right combination of these processes that work for you best.
Right.
That will take you forward in the direction that you want to go in. So I guess that's what I have, and I'm quite excited about where I want to be in the next 3 years. Oh, 3 Hagen traction, of course.
Nice. All right. Okay. So just curious. I mean, what's the not anticipated part? I'm kind of curious. What did you discover? That's kind of like the biggest finding.
The thing that, again, didn't I not tell you? Okay, so fine. So this wasn't. I don't think this was last week. This was the week before. I was brought to tears because I realised
you share that.
that
Yeah, you share that. Yeah.
yeah, okay. So the reason why that is because I don't feel that I was part of the family when I was growing up.
Okay.
And that's because my mum and dad were in Africa in the 1950s, and their journey together started in 56. And so, you know, and the story is about my dad being there since 51. Then they have the, you know, they start their family, and they have their family and with my brother and my sister. And so throughout my life, it's, oh, right, you're Philip Hainsworth's son, and oh, right, you're Richard and Zarin's brother. So I was always because I was 10 years junior to those two, my life didn't start until we got to the UK. So I didn't have any of that. I wasn't a part of that family history about being in Africa, which was so much a part of what identified my parents. And so, and the way in which I think, you know, the things that I felt my brother, the way he treated me and stuff like that, is just all, you know, just the whole thing kind of, there were a bunch of other little things which kind of made me feel, wow. So this sense of belonging. So if you don't feel you're good enough, if you don't feel that, you know, the confidence in being able to speak out and have that self confidence within, you know, that is because there's something that you're being protected for. And so, like as a child, like sub 6, one, I mean, you know, like, so even, and this is all kind of all very self-indulgent, and none of it do I cast any blame or anything like that. It's just a statement of fact. That's what happened. Okay, fine, but I own it. I own that now, so I can control that. I'm not sat there belly aching that oh, it isn't fair. It doesn't matter if it's fair or not. That's irrelevant. It is. So that's what happened. So that is, and therefore, what one does with that, now that one knows that, I've got a key now. So when I'm sitting there procrastinating, when I'm delaying doing something, I now know that I'm somehow protecting myself from, and it triggers back to these thoughts. So now I can stop myself and go, well, all right, you're procrastinating. Why? What's the issue? Oh, well, I'm worried because, okay, then it gives me a key to unlock that door so that I no longer have to procrastinate. I no longer have to, waste my time with distraction, which I didn't have that necessarily. So it's really interesting. But anyway, there you go. I don't know if that really answered your question or not.
Fantastic. That does. Well, huge congratulations.
So
I think that's super. That's super. It's
I hope so. I hope so.
When you no. It is. I mean, private victory precedes public victories. Yeah, and I think you've just got a very significant private victory. It's yeah, it definitely will play out, you know, in the near future of whatever you do, and you know the results, the impact you'll be seeing. So, all right, congrats. Really glad for you. That makes that book also, you know, I should, you know, I want to, you know, I want to
I would
read that.
recommend it to anybody. I mean, the thing is, you've got to want to read it if you want to read it. Yeah, there's no point in me saying, "Oh, you should read this," because psychologically you'll go, "I don't want to read it." And I'm not suggesting that you should. I'm just saying that it's a book that I would recommend if anybody wants to go and take that journey.
Right. Sure. All right. So I'll share my wins. Okay. So again, a big win on my flight here. It was 11 hours from Taiwan to San Francisco. By the way, I went to visit San Francisco for a day, which was fabulous. I also spent a day in Toronto for the coach workshop, which couldn't have been planned better. Okay. So, but one big win was on my flight, which was 11 hours. And I was basically going deep into the rapid transformation challenge stuff. But what essentially was, we were, obviously I cannot share the details yet, but Ben recommended we reread chapter 5 of 10x is easier than 2x, and just try to see how we can adopt. So I reread that, which was about the entrepreneur time system, 3-day focus day, buffer days. And he also talks about, okay, I start to see new stuff, this time when I'm like revisiting, which include, something like, you really want to put like the same thing, but batch them together, into the same day. And reserve like deep 3 to 4 hour deep work time for creative work, for important stuff. Okay, you want to have that kind of block in your schedule in your life. So I basically took a deep dive and reviewed my schedule, which already I reviewed that last month actually, and this is another deeper dive. Batch up a few things, eliminate things. So right now I have a 6-hour work week. Okay, and also hence my request to change the sync time with you, because I realize the morning 3 to 4 hours are important for output. It's actually important to get stuff out and not having any meetings. Okay, so because right now it's 7 a.m. In our previous time, that would be 5 a.m. for me if I'm in the PEI time zone, right? So I did a few adjustments. So right now my schedule has two, I think, new characteristic. One is that the first 3 hours of the morning is being well protected. Okay, the first three without any outside, like interaction. And the other thing is during the day, it's also, basically on schedule. Okay, so I schedule all my meeting, and the other thing is I put all my syncing time to Tuesday. Okay, and mostly, and also to the coaching time on Thursday. So those are the only. And another thing is I add one more free day to my schedule, Friday. Okay, because I realized that a lot of times that could be family time, that we might pick up the kids, there might be something on a Friday. In the past, it was just like schedule conflict, like I had to move things here and there, right? On a relatively ad hoc basis. But I just realized it would be much easier if I just eliminate that day, as a potential work day. So actually going even deeper. Obviously, this is very specific to where I'm moving, where I'm heading. Okay, so one is the schedule change. The other is the coach. Okay, this is something I like to share. So that session was about 3 sales mastery. Okay, so without going to details.
About what? Sorry?
3 sales mastery. It's 3 things related to sales, that kind of sales mastery, right? It's about sales. Okay. But obviously, to know the details, you have to go to the workshop, right? But what I can share is the biggest thing I learned from that is I'm a great sales. We're all salespeople, right? We try to sell whenever we try to get something we want, right? You have to sell to your spouse, to your coworkers, to your kids, to your clients, to everybody, right? We're always selling. It's just that we don't see ourselves as doing sales or doing convincing, right?
Yeah.
But we are doing that all the time. And in fact, I can trace back my sales roots to my first year in elementary school, where this is a bit embarrassing because I was feeling lacking pocket money. And this girl who sat next to me, she's from a pretty, I think, she got quite a bunch of pocket money. So I basically made a deal with her that I will sell her like blank piece of paper, which I got pretty much free for $1 a piece, like, and she gladly bought a lot of papers from me. I think she liked me. That's the thing. And I kind of leveraged that. So, so that's a salesman, right? I was doing that even when I was in, first year in elementary school. And obviously I could identify other instances of such things later. So I think that's an important identitative shift and realization that because in the past, you probably heard me talking about this, right? I see myself as a technical person, as a developer, as someone with a tech background. I'm not good at sales. I'm not a salesman, right? Or sales is like kind of, I think it's being undermined by my mother. Like she sees salespeople as, dirty, as as undesirable, right? So, but I think that kind of changed things. And I think one thing that kind of struck me was sales is about improving the life of another person, okay, by helping them with a solution that can improve their life, right? I mean, it's not about pushing things and forcing transaction. It's really about and you have some solution that can really help to eliminate the pain, the problem of another person, right? And that's what human economies started. So fundamentally, economies, business, it's about mutually helping each other out. And I think when you start to look things from that perspective, it's actually a very positive, good, and spiritual thing, for people to do. When you're conducting sales in the ethical ways, that's what business or sales should be. So I'm a great sales, and I just sold you like part of my great sales experience was I think I sold the idea for being a co-founder with me an impact fund. I sold someone who's a British national that it will be a nice idea. It will great idea.
But yeah, well, one might argue I sold you on the idea of me being it. One might argue that I positioned myself in such a way that for you to ask me was the most logical thing to do because I was the solution that you needed.
Okay.
Perhaps.
Okay. Yeah.
But
So
I get what you're saying, and I think that's. But I'm interested. Was that kind of like a extra session, or was that the next logical step in your program? You know how the one we went to the one in Canada, right?
Yeah.
That wasn't unit number 3 or 4.
I imagine it probably isn't the quote unquote logical progression in my original program, but
it was an extra, right? Okay, no, I'm just intrigued to see.
No. But the point is, I think I now really see everything's happening for me, not to me. Like everything happened for a reason. I think it's the perfect session, for the time being. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. And very timely, actually.
And is it the statement "I'm a salesman"? Is that in the same light of the statement that says
I'm a 10?
I'm a 10?
I think so. Yes,
Yeah,
it's
okay.
the same line of thinking. Yes. Okay. Yes. Yeah. And Russell reminded me of that as well. He asked us, have you been a 10? A couple of people like didn't know what he was asking, and I mean new people. And now Russell gave a quick session on that for them. Yeah. Oh, and by the way, another win. I treat them with some Legion cookies and chocolate biscuits. I brought some to the coach session, which I planned to do, right, when we were seeing Dan Sullivan, which didn't happen, but this time it did. So, and they all enjoyed it.
Good. I take it you didn't have your bag stolen then?
No. Okay, yeah. This time it's very smooth, very smooth. Luggage is our ride, safe and sound. All right, so that's maybe start for today. And what is it that you like to discuss? I have one topic on my mind. But
Okay. What's your
anything on
topic?
what sort of topic? Okay. It's about a potential change in direction. Okay. And I think I have to muster a bit of courage when saying this, both in terms of, but I am thinking in alignment of like what is focusing on the 20% and dropping the 80% of existing. So the direction I'm thinking is, I think it's become very clear to me, at least to me personally, that I'm going to be pulled towards the future by two things. Okay, like these will be like for me work or professional wise, like two like I don't know, like attractor black holes thing kind of like attraction. One is the impact accelerator. Okay, so that's the idea of incubating 1,000 unicorns in 20 years. Okay, so that's one. And the other thing is the eco villages. Okay, again, 1,000 of them, 20 years down the road. Now, how does JCF play to that? Is that part of the, I guess, the acceleration thing is about supporting, business of all kinds with funding needs. Okay, so the accelerator, if you recall, it's designed, I like that to be fully remote, coach, and funded. So the funding part will be the kind of a mechanism JCF can potentially provide with tokenized funding solutions. Okay. So, and why is that important and relevant to JCF's mission? Is because, companies arguably are the biggest growth engine of society. Just look at the Silicon Valley unicorns, right? So if they had, for example, if Google, Microsoft, Apple, when they were starting up, they had set away not much, maybe 10, maybe even 5% of their stock shares. And they say that this will be reserved for public good, for donation purpose, for social impact, right? When they were still very small, like tiny, right? Think of the amount of wealth, right? The money, the resource that can be, devoted towards that direction for social impact, right? So, I mean, actually, that was a thought. I got that idea when I was in, I think, one of the collisions. And some attendee just suggested to me, why don't you go to Silicon Valley and ask those big wealthy companies to donate, right, into your impact fund? So that kind of got me the idea that, yes, it's a good idea, but likely it's not something they will do unless we are quote unquote proven, right? I'm sure it's something they will do once we're proven. But before you are being proven, but what about the future Microsoft, Facebook, Google, right? Or Amazon, right? They are still arguably the future giants, they could still in their infancy now, or even not yet exist. And if we can help them on their journey towards growth, right? Because remember, the 3% unicorns are around the corner. And let's say if we can support a few of those. And in fact, the impact accelerator I'm intending to build, or I like to see happen, is in fact towards those directions. Building really lean, strong, agile companies that could have impactful purpose results, growing to unicorn scale, but maybe not taking a lot of people by leveraging technologies. Okay, so basically, I see this as, a potential funding mechanism for JCF into actually growing wealth, okay, towards, towards, I guess, having of a fund that can support for basic income. So that's one thing. The other thing, okay, so The other thing, I think it's the related to the eco village thing. Okay, so I mentioned about one is the impact accelerator, right? The other is the eco village. Now, how is that related to JCF? Is that real estate, as both you and I know, it's one of the largest, oldest industry, right? With a lot of wealth being invested, being stored, being put. And it's also how the wealthy people, families preserve their assets for generations, hundreds of years, right? It's always land, land and real estate, right? I mean, the wealth preserving vehicles, precious metals, arts and paintings, collectibles, not company stocks, because companies go bust, most of them, right? I mean, the financial economic environment shift, right? Like the 100 biggest company 100 years ago, probably 90% of them no longer exist, right? I mean, business company stocks is not wealth preserving. Lands and properties are, okay? So what this entails to is I see another important big change, I mean, big trend, which is real estate tokenization. Okay. And this is something I think that's also ties very well with what JCF can potentially build and leverage on. Okay. So I guess to summarize, what I like to say is that if we are serious about providing basic income to billions of people, 10, 20 years down the road, then what is the wealth engine that can best support this cause, right? And I think right now, the answer, at least to me, and in terms of clarity, is one, startups, second, real estate. Okay, so this is something I think this is in my current thinking opinion now, that JCF should probably position, quote unquote, position itself towards. Okay, because these are, I think, mega trends as well. Okay, so regarding today's topic, what I see, how can JCF support startup? Well, there are two aspects you can do it. One is in the funding aspect. This is for obvious reason, right? For fundraising. And this is traditionally being called the ICO stuff, right? However, there's another aspect that JCF can also help, which is helping companies and teams to issue what's called their team tokens. Okay, this addresses the problem, which, by the way, we are facing ourselves right now, right? JCF is just the two of us with the vision, with the ideas, right? And maybe also working lacklusterly here and there towards making it happen, right? However, likely it will require, or we want, a lot more people, a lot more talents, right? Of different kind of dimension. But the traditional way is you pay them with money, right? And this is where we get stuck. We don't have money. We have ideas, but money is something we don't have yet. I'm sure we will have money, hopefully not too far away, not too long. But at the present, what we have is really the vision. Now, is vision valuable? Can you sell vision? Can you exchange labor, time, expertise with vision? Well, maybe so, maybe not, right? But I think one thing that has been missing is there isn't a clear mechanism, a clear and fair mechanism for people to exchange vision with labor, right? Oftentimes, right now, there's one tier of this, which is stock, okay, which is basically if you join, we'll give you stock, right? And you will get the stock and when the company becomes successful, then you get and you become a co-founder, right? Essentially, by that is one way to attract and utilize talents in the beginning stage. But you know, like you know, there's a lot more talents that will probably be nice or, you know, helpful who are not at the co-founder level, right? They don't want to like spend the rest of their life or the next, you know, 3 to 5 years on this thing, right? They might have an expertise in website development, user interface design, but they're willing to spend maybe a few weeks or a few months on the project, right? And why can't they also get something if they're willing to, right? Sort of a token for their contribution, right? That can be redeemed in the future, right?
But
So,
Shunyun, you've said all of this to me in the past, right?
yes,
So
but
what's
the new
new
thing?
element?
Okay, the new element is that I believe we should go big with team tokens and various states tokenization, and maybe pick one of them to focus for now.
Go big. What does that mean?
Means that that should be our main service offering, main product strategy offering, main funnel effort, right? For example, right now, the funnel effort, I think it's directed towards people joining our main fund, right? The JCF main, and try to scale the user base for that. That is the current, right, agreed upon strategy approach, right? But
So just to be clear, are you
right.
suggesting that changes now?
Yes, I am suggesting that changes now. Yes. And I
Why
like
do
to
you think
share
it should
some,
change?
okay, I like to share something. Let me share my screen. I think I'm selling you stuff, right?
You're not selling me anything at the moment, if I'm being honest.
It's not attractive, right? Okay, not attractive yet. We have entered an exit position recently. Let me share something with you of something that's not, I don't think it's working very well at the moment. In other words, it's a broken piece. We can fix it, or yeah, or we can fix it with something else. Okay, so these are the recent in and out records. Okay, so you probably know crypto has jumped a lot, but you know also has been down. Actually, Bitcoin has been down. You know, yeah, down 3.5%, right? The MACD is tilting down. Okay, so what happened was, okay, on this date, December 2nd, actually not that long ago. Okay, so a bit a week ago, it crosses the point. By the way, we did not enter at that time because it was a Saturday. Okay, so both, you know, not you, not I, not Poid were monitoring this. We missed actually 2 days, and this is when I start to notice. Okay, so that was already on the Monday, and you can see the Bitcoin price. It was sorry, I don't see the price here.
I mean, it's irrelevant how much it is. The fact is, the line crossed and it was going up, so it's gone up, right?
Right. This is
So it doesn't really matter what the price was. The trend, the way the graph is going.
all right. The thing is, this is what I like to share with you. Bitcoin, okay, so this is when we enter on Monday. Okay, a few days later, I decided to pull out. Okay, because when we entered, the NAV was 0.65. Okay, and we actually lost a bit. okay, 2% down. And the losing the 2% down is basically of the top three. Actually, Binance, BNB was losing significantly. Okay, due to the various reasons you might have heard in the news, its CEO is out. It's being asked not to leave the States. CZ. So the top two are doing well. The third wasn't. And that's about the drop probably contributed by that. At the same time, Bitcoin itself actually has risen 6%. Okay, so in other words, at least from this instance, okay, the in and out, the top 10 strategy at this time did not produce a gain for us. Okay, even though Bitcoin itself went up 6%, and so is Ethereum. Okay, but because of strategy. The other thing is during this period, actually, by the way, I do think that index is it's a more reliable. It also elevates potential risk. The thing is for Bitcoin let us see. Okay, so actually since this year it's jumped out 146%, right? Year to end, 6 months, 3 months, 1 month, 1 week. Okay, this is the Bitcoin performance. But if you look at the same period, for us, let's say over the last year or so, right? We did capture a 10% gain at the beginning of 2023. Okay, so I guess just for highlight, at the end of last year, I think that was about our NAV. So right now we stand here. Okay, so that's I can do a quick calculation on that.
It's what, 8% or something, right? No,
it's 12%, 12%, 12.24, 12.24%. Yeah. So in other words, this year so far, we have gained 12.24% of the fund. Not bad. Okay, not bad. Granted, I mean, it's probably better than traditional instruments. But it's also a time where in the stock market, you can easily go 15 to 20%, with any picks. And also Bitcoin itself, right, went in this period 150%, right? And it's true that we miss a lot of the moments entering. But yeah, even if we did enter, right now, so I guess what I'm trying to say is I think our strategy, while I do believe that it can produce results in the long run, I mean, the basic principles are sound, but it's also apparent that still a lot of tricking is required. Okay, and a lot more, I guess, we might want to make this more automatic, right? More algorithmic, things like that. And
I thought,
right.
I thought we had this conversation about a month ago, I think now. I thought the whole point of this Debo guy was the idea that you wanted to spend money on something to do with the wealth platform.
Right.
And I said to you that surely a better way of spending money is getting it so that we can automate our processes.
Right.
So it's using AI so that it can do that. I then said that would be a product, a service that creates value that anybody would want to have a share of, right? And in fact makes JCF valuable as an investment instrument.
Right.
And I thought that was the direction that was going in. And if that hasn't happened, well, then it hasn't happened. So there's a level of you know, you that's just frustrating. The other thing, we've been speaking about this for over a year now, that this idea of a fund in a traditional format works within the traditional kind of context. The volatility within running the top 10 current traded currencies on the exchanges, I don't think is a good idea. And I think, you know, Nick actually highlighted that really succinctly when he went through the top 10, and he said, well, you only really want to be choosing these three. I mean, I think he pulled out 3 out of the 10. And your point there was, well, you know, you know, don't have to think about it.
We don't have to choose. We don't have to choose.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I don't think it's a matter of, you know, the choice. I wouldn't have chosen Binance because it's a company. You know, it's not a coin. It's not currency. You know, Ethereum is a currency. Bitcoin's a currency. USDT, I don't see there's any point in buying USDT because it's a dollar. So you're never going to make any money out of that. So you're never going to make any money out of any of the stables. So the point is,
it's a stabilizer. Yeah.
You don't. I mean, there's no point in holding it because you're not going to make profit. So you only want to make, you know, you only want to pick coins where you're going to generate profit. And out of the top 10, there's only 2 that are realistically going to do anything.
That's true. Yes. Yeah.
So anybody else shouldn't really be on the list until such time as the volatility within the marketplace becomes more stabilized and more mature actors become dominant because they are more mature and they deliver a service that is of value rather than this nonsense that a lot of the currencies are. So the idea that, you know, well, the index, I think, you know, there's 2 things there. I think as a concept, I think it's not flawed, but I don't think the market is mature enough for it to be adapted in the same way that an index fund works within a normal exchange, like the Nasdaq or whatever. Now, but you've already admitted that because the whole thing is you've made a personal decision to come out because, despite the fact that, you know, because of the losses which are coming out of the Binance thing, right? So it's not an automated thing. You're not acting as a fund. So there's already a decision-making process going on there that is human by its very nature.
What is the decision-making, human decision-making?
You just sat there and said I pulled out because we didn't go back in, or we pulled out because we were making a 6% loss because of
not because we're making loss. No. It was based on the indicators. It was based on the indicator. It's just that when we pull out, we are pulling out at a loss. That's what I'm saying. It's still based on the indicators.
Okay, because I didn't get that. I thought that the indicators were still that you should stay
in. Okay.
The message that you sent to Slack or wherever didn't suggest, you know, it said, I'm going to be traveling, so we're not going to go back in, just in case.
Right.
That's not a following a process. That's taking a decision.
I see. Okay. Right. That is a decision. Right. That is a decision not continue to monitor. Yeah.
Yeah. So the point is, the point is the fund being operated as an index fund of the top 10 currencies and just following the rules.
Right.
The point I'm trying to make is my understanding is it's not being operated in that way.
Okay. So it's not executed well enough for index.
Well, no, not that I don't care about well enough. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying we're not operating in the way that we say that it should be operating.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Because we're taking human judgments based upon subjective opinions at a particular point in time. And when it's the right decision, there's nothing wrong with that. Okay.
Right.
So
right.
overall,
I think we avoided some loss. We avoided some loss by pointing out early.
Yeah. No, but overall, a 12% growth,
right.
it's not a dramatic failure, right?
True,
At all.
True.
So, you know,
I agree.
it's an increase. However, during the same period, I think I've probably made more money on my account.
Right.
Sorry, not more money. I've probably made more of a percentage growth on my accounts following the principles that I've been following, which are what I've been saying we should be adopting for 12 months now. Now we haven't. So the fact that we've not taken action is more an indication than whether or not the direction in which we take the organization is that's what's impacting.
Okay.
Lack of action in terms of putting into play what we've said we would do, is detrimental.
Right.
Well, okay. If you would, I mean,
that I'd agree. That I'd agree. I also don't for the record, I also don't think that the basic thinking or principles are flawed in terms of, you know, having an index strategy that's executed over time, you know, that can produce.
I don't think it's appropriate. I don't think it's a bad idea. I just don't think the market in which we're operating in is mature enough for it to work properly and work well. I mean, you know, it would be interesting to sit there and calculate if I don't have enough time to do this, but it would be, you know, if one wanted to prove the argument, one should go back and go, well, with hindsight, if we'd have started,
you're talking regression
in 2017,
you're talking about
2015, and go, if we'd have adopted this approach, what would have happened?
Right.
And one might argue that it would have worked better or not. I mean, who knows? Who cares? The point, you know, that just proves a point one way or t'other. But I just don't. I think it. Okay. So regardless of whether or not it's indexed or not, I don't think it is truly an index fund because it's you know, there are decisions being made. I do think there are other ways in which we could increase the amount of money that we're making by following a dollar cost averaging approach, whether or not you want to include liquidity pools or not. Only focusing on Bitcoin and Ethereum within the top 10, I think would be a sensible thing to do. They're all ways in which we could have made more money, and we would have been adopting AI to do the work. You wanted to have a system where you don't think there's no human element. Well, we plug the rules into a system and we tell the system to operate within the rules, and it doesn't matter whether it happens on a Saturday or a Sunday.
Right. Okay.
You know, we just tell it to operate 24 hours a day as and when the markets happen.
Okay. So I think right now, thanks. I think you're pointing to a valid direction and approach to take, which is to improve our current processes, and also strategy, right? For example, by narrowing down to only the good coins, quote unquote, real good coins.
Being aware of what's in the marketplace and where its real value is. And if we're going to measure, if we're going to measure ourselves upon a certain set of criteria, then I think we should be measuring the people we invest in the same criteria.
Okay, all right. So basically what I heard is being more selective in the composition of the portfolio, right? Basically being more selective. And I think when you talk about maturity, you're talking about, you know, I guess what you're saying, implying is in a mature market, the top 10 would mean they are of a significant, you know, like stability, right? And they would not like drop out suddenly. However, the crypto market, even you're the top 10, you could drop out of the, you know, the chart. Like
I would suggest you've got
instant,
another 5 years before that happens.
Right, right.
before you've
And
got 10
maybe at
stable
some
coins.
point it will be like that. Yeah, but on the other hand, I mean, there's a counter argument to this, which is the high volatility is actually a key strength to play, because higher volatility means if you're able to catch up, right? If you have a good strategy, you can catch the bounce up and
Yeah,
down,
that's true.
right?
But that volatility is going to go away, Shunyun. By
Yes.
March, the volatility will start to flatten out.
Mm.
By March 24.
Mhm.
If you don't own a Bitcoin by March 24, it's going to get increasingly more expensive to own one.
Okay. Okay.
Because the banks are buying them now. The banks are
Right,
actually getting
right.
involved because of what I've already said to you in the past, 4 months, 3 months.
Right, right, right. Okay, so that's another trend, right? I think we're still very early. I mean, that's, like, and there's probably going to be some super growth points that's, yet happen.
Oh, well,
So,
I would hope so.
okay,
But I
I'm
think,
sure.
I mean, like,
Yeah, it's
here's the thing. You know, one of the other things you said there is particularly about companies and unicorns and funding, and it's like you use the word proven.
Mhm.
If JCF changes its strategy now, if it changes direction, what has it proven?
Okay.
There is nothing proven yet.
Mm.
You've proven that you can that some money has been generated and it loosely kind of can generate a bit of profit.
Right, right.
It's not doing anything kick-ass and it's not doing anything consistent. So the consistency comes from, well, okay, the saying goes, if you're persistent at something, then you'll become successful. And when you're consistent at it, you will keep your success, right? So where have we, that was the whole point about getting the 1,000. Getting the 1,000 leads us to understanding what the process is and how many, what kind of work rate needs to be done, how much has to go into the beginning of the funnel to get to the end, and all the rest of it.
Right.
And we'll generate a growth building.
Right.
Because there's still people out there that want to join this kind of party, right?
Right.
And
I agree.
what is the value that we're offering them? The value is for those
Stability,
people
safety.
that
Yeah.
Exactly right. So if we're offering that, then that is something which is of service and of value to other people, and therefore, and it's also for the greater good. Now, if you change that direction, where are you doing it? Because the other thing that I don't kind of, I'm not keen on listening to is maybe this will happen. If this happens, then maybe this will happen. That's not a strong case to do anything.
Okay.
Right. I'm going to wear my swimming trunks today in some, wherever it is, PEI, because maybe there might be a freak weather storm and it'll become really hot and sunny and I can swim in the sea. If there's a bit more global warming and the sun comes out, then maybe I'll get a suntan. Now, you're sitting there thinking, yeah, but that's a stupid example, Michael, because that's never going to happen. Well, okay. So the challenge is that if you're too radical with your thought process,
right,
your objections will be, that's a silly idea because it will never happen. So the idea is to have a milestone which will get you to that end result. Even if your vision in 30 years is to be at X, that can only be achieved by consistently doing targeted events, targeted achievements. So to change, and this is the thing that I'll come back to again. I've said it before. the one valuable thing Chris said on that WhatsApp group was, in the last 4 years or something, JCF has been this, changed to this. He made a list. I don't know, maybe it's 3 or 4 or 5 different iterations of how JCF was going in different directions. It's a valid point. To be consistent and achieve the goals that we set out, and from there evaluate the level of success and what that means to a series of milestones which will take one to wherever one wants to go.
Mike, I think you got a very valid point. I think I would like to only point out the difference is that I think I'm still being consistent with the goal of JCF, the mission and goal. It's just that the pathways, has been trying different things. The goal is still to provide basic income, and I think that's
where is wealth then? What is wealth?
Okay,
what
so
is the
wealth
point
actually
of wealth relative to
wealth actually sits very nicely as a foundational block to the 2 things I just mentioned: team tokens and real estate tokenization. Wealth is the perfect instrument tool to enable
so the point
allow
about
these
team
2
tokens
things to happen. Yeah.
Right. The point about that, when you were talking about that, again, we've had this conversation 3 weeks ago, and you were talking about Debo and team tokens, and I was going, fine. What's a team token? How do you measure it? What does it mean?
Right.
And I asked you a bunch of questions about that, and you said, okay, I'll come back to you, and you haven't. So conceptually, having an idea of what a team token is, and that it can be used to remunerate people for the effort that they put into a project, is a good idea. Of course it is. But you want to apply that to JCF, right, to solve the problem of funding.
Right. For us.
And there is there is no evidence to show how it can work. And because we haven't done that, how do we say that we can provide a valuable source of service in doing that for other people?
Exactly.
Because we haven't even done it for ourselves.
So my whole point is we want to do it ourselves first.
So I go back to the conversation 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago.
Right. There is this document that's sitting there for a while now, actually. Yeah. So there is a design. And actually
this is conceptual though. It's where's the actual numbers?
The numbers. Okay. I mean, well, I think the design still has to be hung out first, right? There are okay. So I think there's
30% of what? 250 instead of 250 he gets $10 of B tokens and whatever that is, right? Okay, so how are you quantifying that?
Okay.
How are you saying that it's of that value?
Right. So basically, all right, this is a bit, outdated, in the past, right? This is thinking from some time before. I like to share
the second, Shinyan, sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
Bear with me a second. Let me just, this is a guy that I might need to correspond with in a second. Let me just send him a message.
Okay. Actually, it will be fine to wrap up, I think. I mean, basically, there is a to-do. For example, for team to flesh out and be more clarified with the team token design. Okay, I think that's something I can do. I'm happy to do. Okay. And the just to I think also make it more clear. There's also, given the current trajectory of making sure JCF has a more consistent and, performing strategy, right? I think that's also a good direction. But I guess the thing is, right, again, we want to prioritize what's the one thing to do, right? Improve the strategy, improve the the consistency, and also the so strategy improvement. I think that would be like maybe the next thing, right, for the main fund. Or you think the thing is the funnel marketing aspect, right? That's so yeah, I'm trying to see okay. I guess what I'm trying to come up from my mouth, I don't know how to say this properly, but is that I I can definitely see the value you're bringing to the table, and I want to acknowledge and appreciate that, which is to provide consistency and stability and profitability, to our company,
I'm only interested
right?
in making profit. Right?
Yes.
And at the
That is
moment,
excellent.
like
That is
every
excellent.
time you have an idea, Shunyun,
You want to
there
filter
is
that,
nothing.
right? With the
Well,
profitability
there's nothing
filter.
wrong with the idea, but
Uh-huh.
the thing is, your ideas takes your energy
timing.
away, and you're not focusing on getting the result.
What's profitable at the moment? Is it?
No,
Or
let's get the result. The moment you've got a result, you can then sit there. Can you see that whiteboard?
yes. Uh-huh.
Right. So this is really basic kind of stuff that you get with I can't remember who did it. I think it's Andy, I think the guy's name was.
Right. Okay.
You have an experience. So that's an experience, right?
Okay.
That then leads you to reflect.
Okay.
So you reflect on the experience that you've had.
Right.
That then takes you to a planning stage. And you plan what you can do next, right? That then leads you to an action stage.
Okay.
And when you've had an action and you've taken an action, then that creates an experience. And you can iterate that whole model over and over again.
Right. Okay.
That's not happening.
Okay. The action
The
part.
action isn't happening, right? So there's no point. You haven't had an experience. All right, sorry. The level of actions, right, is low. All right. So the experiences are relatively low or old. And you're reflecting and planning on stuff that you're out of date with your experience.
Well, there is a new experience, which is JCF's current strategy is not working as well. That's that's a recent action.
Well, but I mean, we've known that for like the last how long? 12, 18 months, because it's not doing the 40, 50% the 100% that the other funds are.
Right.
You spent last year, right? When I said to you, what happened last year? And we went through it with the graphs. The last time you put the graphs on the screen. I said, when could we have gone in and out of positions? Well, we could have gone in at these times. I think there's 7 or 8 times, right? And I said, why didn't you do it? Well, because I didn't do it. That's me not doing it. Okay. If it's you not doing it, then that's you not taking action. That's not the strategy. It's you not, which is why I said, why are we not getting somebody like Debo or whoever to build an automated system that allows AI to kind of create these? That becomes your goal, right? That's the dream, isn't it?
Right.
I'm taking away the human element. I've got a who that will do the how.
Right.
We've mapped it out that we can create this system, and that becomes a valuable thing that you could sell to anybody.
Right. True. And that is still happening. I mean, that is still in execution mode. Yes. I mean, Debo has identified the indicators already. So right now it's tying that to the actual in and out action, the execution of the in and out actions, and that will be automated. Obviously, there's still reliability issues, whether it's doing it at the right time. That has to be observed. I think that's one thing. The other thing is we might want to decide when we enter position, should we limit to less coins? Let's say cut from 10 to 5 or even 3, right? I think that's another decision we can make, right? Still index, still, kind of a portfolio base, but with more selective tokens. But again, we want to have a criteria for that, right? We want to make sure that it's rule-based. So maybe that can be the actions forward, right? All right, Mike. So I think this is my kind of reflection and realization. I should probably only talk with you about being consistent of the current JCF approach. Nothing else. Everything else should be my own side project. Okay.
Well, not necessarily a side project, Shinyan, but I mean,
right? I think that
no, not at all.
Probably,
not at all. No? Because see, the thing is, like, your mind will go off on tangents anyway, because that's the way you are.
That's how I operate.
Fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. And every now and then you're going to absolutely nail it and have a brilliant bit of genius idea that is absolutely right for the moment and will absolutely go in the right direction. And that's great.
Okay.
You'll get bored of it though. Okay. You'll get bored of that idea because your mind will go off on a different tangent. That's what you do.
Okay.
So you actually need somebody who's going to sit there and drive the idea forward.
Right.
When it's the right idea.
An integrator.
When it's the right idea.
I think have to work with an integrator. I want to work with an integrator.
Right.
Okay. and actually, I actually met an integrator, on my plane here. That was the integrator. That guy can execute. He can lead team. He can he's in selling like groceries online. He's working at a startup that's doing, but his traits, his strength is exactly that. He can just make things happen and drive executions. Yeah. I think that's someone we want in our team. Right.
If you have your ideas and you say, well, I'm going to make them a side project, then your focus is not on. You said to me weeks ago, I am committed to 1,000. You're not. You're not committed.
Okay.
Well, I'll be honest about it. You're not. Yeah. If you were, it would have been done. So I said to you last week, I will get the JCF funnel, click funnel to a position. And as soon as I got it to the next stage, I was unable to take it forward because the marketing elements weren't complete. So I sent to you that, and also the fact, I think the fact that you've got effectively a public site which has a login page that was non-operational. We only would have known that because I went there to check it. That's operationally not good. Okay. You imagine if that was. Imagine if we were raking in I don't know, 1,000 leads a day.
Right.
How long was it without error message? Granted, if we had 1,000 leads a day, we would certainly have some sort of social channel that would actually have raised an alarm at some point when it wasn't working, with people moaning that it wasn't working.
Right. True. Right.
But the point is, it shouldn't ever get to that stage because there should be somebody just cross-checking everything that's working anyway. Especially if we're saying that we offer it as a service because we're professional about it. You don't go onto the HSBC website and go, well, I can't open up a bank account.
Right.
So I think there's just it's getting things working so that they're sweet, okay, and then handing them off is I personally think is the way to do it. Otherwise, it's not. If it's not working, then what is it? It's something which is an idea, which is, it's kind of a project that's in motion. It's a theory, and there's a difference between a theory and actually something which is real. And it's the real things which are of value, because theories are just ideas. So you might have a milestone which will sit there and say, I think that the tokenization of property is a milestone we should aim for. Yeah, okay, agreed.
Well,
I'm going to agree to that because I've already written a white paper about it. Is it a milestone that we should be dealing with in the next month?
You don't think so?
Well, it's a nice idea. And if you sit there and go, well, it's going to be a forcing function and it's going to be, we're going to have impossible goals. Your goal of getting 1,000 is currently impossible. It's impossible because it has not been made possible. Therefore, it is impossible, despite the fact that since June, we set it as a goal and it has not been achieved. It is currently impossible. So making that an impossible goal is of more benefit because it ultimately impacts us more beneficially, more immediately than whether or not we have a mechanism to maybe bring on about tokenized assets of real estate that may or may not have a demand. Supply and demand. Do people want it? What people want at the moment are a safe way to invest their money into crypto. There's a demand for that. And there's plenty of charlatans ripping people off, and there's plenty of good people doing it, but only catering to the wealthy.
Right.
I just think that
do you think the market maturity of crypto is at the point where there's going to be mass adoption, and if we're ready, then we can capture that? I think that's what you're trying to say, right? Whereas real estate tokenization, it's still an idea. It's
in the
probably
UK,
not.
right? It already is tokenized because people are already fractionalizing assets, but they're doing it within the conventional framework.
Right.
Now, when will it become kind of de facto that it works? Partly in March of 24, when the SEC agrees and allows the likes of BlackRock to have a Bitcoin ETF.
Right.
At that stage, then blockchain and crypto will become far more acceptable.
Right. I see.
Because it will be a standardized asset.
Right. You're talking about there's an education element that plays to the public's minds, right? That's when people will see it as more legitimate, right? I think that's what you're also saying.
Not really. But I mean, yes, you're right. But that's not what I was talking about. What I was saying there is that when the banks actually sit there and start playing with it properly, and the SEC backs them, then everybody else will follow suit. And then people will start to realize, oh, actually, Bitcoin isn't so bad. It doesn't cost so much in terms of energy usage. Oh, it's kind of okay. Well, what else could we apply that to? Look at Shell Oil. They're using blockchain in their supply chain management. What else can we do? And that's where people, that's where having, at that stage. So in the next 12 to 18 months is where the play on having the kind of mechanisms there to do what you're talking about will start to play out. But we've got to prove that it works first. We've got to show that it's, there's even though the markets might be volatile, what we deliver is stable.
All right. Okay. So Mike, All right. One question. So you believe by going this route, you think it will get us to 1,000 users? Is that something you believe will happen? I mean, this is the pathway.
Hold on a second. What, 1,000 users? Well, I haven't changed. I mean, we haven't done it. How do we know? We sat there and we said, let's make this a reality. Let's focus on that. Let's do that.
Okay.
And we haven't achieved it yet. So how do we know?
Okay.
I couldn't say yes or no to that question because we haven't achieved it.
Okay. All right. So, all right. So this is what I would suggest. Okay. Having a working system, fully agree. Okay. Right now the system is not working. So we want a working system. Okay. So there are a few things I like to, I think, moving forward. Okay. So I think there are three aspects to this. One, strategy improvement. Okay. And basically, I would suggest to maybe cut from 10 to a few. Now, that a few could be 5, could be 3. Okay. That's a decision, right? And we all know, and given the 80-20 rule, actually, I think even 3 tokens will be good enough.
What would be the third one?
Yes. So the third one used to be BNB. That's the third biggest.
BNB, what's that? Sorry, I don't.
Binance coin, the Binance coin. Yeah.
I just think look, Bitcoin and Ethereum, that's good enough.
Oh, you think even 2?
Well, it's 20%, isn't it, to start with?
All right.
Personally, here's the thing that I would say. We consider the top. It's a fund that looks at the top 10 cryptocurrencies.
Right. Okay.
And when we believe that a currency is reasonably stable, then when we start investing in it, and at the moment we only have confidence in 2 coins.
By stable, we should mean that it has long-term value, right? I think that's the.
Yeah,
I think we should not rule out volatility. It may not be a bad thing to be volatile.
No, I don't. I'm not saying that.
But it has to be there. It will not disappear. I think that's the criteria, right? Like we have strong evidence that it will not disappear, right?
Yeah, however we address it.
Right. But I think that should be an important criteria, right? Because if you're gone, then it's no good, right? And if that's the criteria, then potentially like company-backed cryptos are riskier than fully decentralized cryptos, right? I think that it's just, but yeah, I mean, so anyway, yeah, all right. The other thing is automation. Automation, right now, I think we also have 2 routes. One is get our developer to make sure that happens. However, that would entail with a lot of development effort, communication, reliability of the developer, dedication. All those are uncertainty and risks. Okay. If you were to ask me how we can make this a lot more reliable, I would say go for existing solution. Basically things that's already built. We just have to survey, find, and pick. Okay, with an automated strategy. So that requires survey. And I'm not sure if I'm the best person to do it. Okay, so my suggestion is this could be a who job. Okay, obviously if nobody can do it, then or can be charged to do it, then probably I'll have to do it. Or maybe you, I don't know if that's of interest or of necessity. basically finding an automated solution that can do the kind of trades we want, right? So I think that's a who issue. Now, system stability. This is the interesting part where we also have two choices. One is to just simply use the current system, okay, and make sure it doesn't crash. Right now, it does crash. Okay, so just ensure that it doesn't crash or it can be restored, right? Hold on a sec. I have a guest. All right. Okay. All right, Mike, you there?
Yeah. I'm there.
Okay. All right. So one choice is to use the current system, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And the other is to leverage, I think crafting using beauty base as basically building a more custom, having the flexibility to build a custom interface, okay, and plus the wealth system in the back end.
I don't know why you're talking about this, because what does that, how does that have any bearing on what we've spoken about so far? You're
Okay,
I don't know
so
about the system's structure and stability, because we haven't
okay,
spoken about it, and now you're saying that it's crashing. Which, if something is crashing on a you've done the proof of concept, then theoretically it's live, theoretically it works, but you're saying that it crashes. What crashes?
right. There hasn't been effort being looked into. Oh, so the current system, the my.jcf.world, it's been crashing. Right now it's alive. Okay, this one, but it's only after we ask the developer to restore that, but after some delay. So basically, this is right now kind of not really in control, and also this should be times 100. Okay, should be that should not be 0.66. Should be the previous. I mean, this should be the new system that is adopting the. So at least that's a minor bug, right there. Okay, so I mean things like this. The other thing would be to get the new system, which the developer, Josh has more control knowledge about. He feels more confident in terms of maintaining and making sure that it runs. So I guess that's a choice there. And
Are you
the
talking
third thing
about?
is funnels. Yeah. Yeah.
Are you
Okay.
talking about wealth being the other one?
Wealth being the other one, yeah. Which because this current system, I think the developer feels less confident in
So
terms
the
of
developer
fixing.
being Josh,
Yeah,
and the original developer, this being Sunny. Sunny's
right,
now
right.
gone off because he's not interested anymore, and he's not
He's occupied by
participating,
right.
and now Josh is taking it up. So you've now got one system built by one person. The second person doesn't want to take it on. I mean, that to me is like concerning, because what happens if Josh turns around and says, "I'm not interested anymore"?
Right. So
Where does that
that's
leave
why.
you?
Exactly. So that is why I am actually keen on thinking about adopting Booty Base as the system interface plus the backend. Okay, because that is something, and even potentially just using a much simpler existing solution for managing the assets. Okay. In other words, what I'm suggesting or what I'm thinking is actually to strap out, just sort of build a simple JCF system from the ground up using the latest tools and automation.
Fine. So 3-4 weeks ago, you said you'd done that.
Right. It's not entirely done yet. It was, the interface that's been done, that's kind of been proven, but it still has to hook up with the logic, the quote unquote logic, which is and right now the logic we have is either the logic of the existing system, my.jcf world, or the world system Josh has developed. Now, if you like to eliminate, that is still relying on a who, right? Relying on maybe Josh or Sunny to fix things or to build things. If we want to eliminate that risk, right? So becoming fully under my control, I think, well, one option is for me to learn and gain control over the code. That's one. The other, which will take time, by the way, right? But again, if it's time that we think it's well spent, then maybe let's do it. But then another alternative from my perspective is just use Booty Base for the interface. Plus, because all we have to do is just, an existing system that already can do some technical indicator filtering, right? And I guess what I'm trying to say is find an existing system that can do what we want to do, right? And just hook the two together, provided with our own custom interface and user accounts, right? And that will be something, not only will it be using more modern technology, okay, maintained by other people, teams, companies, potentially. But basically that kind of is boiling down, sort of like we're going more essential with JCF. Do you see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, conceptually, I get it, but it needs
meaning that, right? Meaning that we are not touching the development anymore. Okay.
If you're not touching development anymore,
Mhm.
then
where's the value?
Yeah, where's the value that we create?
The value is in the strategy and the concept and mixing these things up.
Right.
And
okay.
Yeah.
So with all of this though, right?
That is stripping away the 80% of the present.
With all of that, I've got this great idea. I think there's this thing that we should build, right? That will actually hold water or any liquid, actually. I think it's a fantastic idea. And it's something that you can hold in your hand. What do you reckon?
A cup.
That's one way of putting forward the idea. Here, look what I've made. This is brilliant. See, look, I can put any liquid I want in there, and I can hold it in my hand. This is what it does. Right. You get that more easily than you do me sitting there waffling on about the concept of a cup. Okay? It would help that there's no liquid in it and I don't spray water all over my computer. But anyway, my point is, it's easier to get a concept across if we've actually got something to look at, something tangible to see how it operates. And then we have to test it.
Right. You've seen the Booty Base interface for the JCF, right? I've shown that.
I mean, I
or
think you
no?
show me on a screenshot or something. But I mean, the point is,
Right.
all of this, right, is going to take time. And if you're only going to work 6 hours a week, and you're only going to do that for half an hour on JCF because the rest of it is going to be spent on a sender and whatever, well, then what's going to happen? Oh, well, we need team tokens to be able to. All right, you want team tokens? We're just going around in circles because we're not actually moving forward. And see what I mean?
Well, Mike, okay, let me answer you this question. Okay, I think this is great because I'm kind of coming up with options, maybe let you to choose, right? I'll get your feedback on this. With the Booty base plus a yet to be known, but I suspect, I think, just like before I found Booty base, there are existing solutions that can do exactly what we want to do. Okay, that's being offered by other companies, but we can just leverage. If that happens, what that means is I will spend time for sure, likely, not just a few hours, maybe dozens of hours, maybe the whole week, or maybe a couple of weeks even, right? But if I focus on that, at the end of that is we will have a system that's working. Okay, and that will actually require very little maintenance effort. Or I can personally maintain pretty much everything. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's an effort, it's an investment that I think could be worthwhile to make, right? Let's say a couple of weeks or even less, right? If I really focus and if I'm really lucky, right, to find the right components and just stick them together, it might take just a couple of weeks for a new system to be up and running, right? So that is, but the risk of that is, can I be focused and dedicated and lucky enough to get that thing, to done and focus for that couple of weeks? That's the risk, right? And yeah, but again, the benefit will be we'll have a lot more control and less uncertainty about relying on, I guess, currently, I think, part-time developer resource, right? Which is great, but maybe there's a limit to, they should be leveraged on certain things. For example, maybe survey, maybe the survey part can be delegated, the prototyping phase can be delegated, but the control maintenance aspect, maybe that should be internal, right? And meaning that I can handle it, or some core team member can handle it, right? So maybe that's a changing model. Yeah, obviously the alternative would be to use the current system. Okay, again, I'll be the one maybe to dive in to learn about what the current system fixing, what's crashing it, trying to make sure that it runs. Okay, and then maintain that expertise, that knowledge here. So, we could just make sure that the thing with the current system is if we are just, again, if we're just even reducing to 2 tokens, right? I think the current system mostly works. The only thing that has to be fixed is just the instability. Right now, due to we don't know what, but probably it can be diagnostic and fixed because it used to be relatively stable, so it's probably something that has recently happened. I don't know, maybe something on Binance end or yeah, that's causing issues. Yeah. So I guess that is assuming. Now let me put the cost benefit quick analysis for you to see. Good thing with the current system is it's mostly working. The limitation is that it can probably only do the top, the top whatever index thing, as it is. If we were to decide to support anything else, real estate token, team token, whatever, or there's an opportunity that arises, the current system will be very slow or unable to to catch up, adjust, or to support any new possibilities. Okay. The positive thing with the Booty base plus maybe, I guess, the new approach is basically that will be, if that can be done, then it should be easy to create new tokens or stuff. Yeah.
You're kind of going into a lot of detail about.
Right, but that is for you as, I guess, a CEO.
What do you mean?
I'm being a
me as a
CTO.
CEO?
I'm being a CTO just now. Okay, I'm presenting you with possibilities, options, and trade-offs, right?
Yeah, I think what I'd need to see then is the I just it's all still conceptual. What does it actually look like? How does it, what I've seen companies which will charge, we've found, Nick gave us a lead on those guys that would do the kind of the API onto our Binance account that would go off and do that kind of stuff.
Right. There are companies that does that. Yeah.
They would do that. I spoke to another outfit called One Something or Other, and they would do something similar. There's different outfits out there that we've already started talking to that would operate in the background, and we would just tie into their APIs.
Right.
And then we would, that would be a way forward.
Right.
But again, that's.
So
we haven't gone anywhere with any of them because they all cost around about $1,000 a month.
I see. Okay. Well, that's what survey will do. Maybe we'll find something much cheaper, right? Because frankly, we don't require all those nice complex features or functions, right? What we want is something just very simple, which is a technical indicator that we can sort of somewhat decide and tell it to determine in and out. And the second thing is the actual ability to present orders, but let's say to Binance or somewhere else. But that is, like, so what that means in terms of what it looks like is this, what I just shared with you. So that is the current system. We will maintain the look and use feel of using this versus this is a Booty base kind of interface, right? You can see something similar, okay, in terms of the investment withdrawal. And yeah, it's more like an IT system kind of thing. Yeah. And right. I guess this is and this is more modern, I guess, and flexible. And versus the and less actual coding behind. Okay. So versus this one. Yeah.
Yeah, that one looks better.
But this is stable. Yeah. I mean, I guess more. Yeah. Okay.
That looks better than the other one.
Okay. All right. So you would say go for this one?
I know aesthetically, which is just a matter of visuals, it looks better.
Right.
Didn't this used to have little charts on it and stuff?
Yeah, it's got charts. Right now it's not showing.
Okay.
And
why not?
And this thing can have charts as well, different charts. Okay. So
why is it not showing the chart?
What's your feedback? Well, probably something in the backend not connecting well. Could be due to some data retrieval or again, we'll have to get someone to look into it.
Well, this stemmed out of a line of dialogue, which was you summarising what needed to be done, where we started talking about the strategy, whether or not it's V2 or not, coins, and then the thing saying that the system needs to be more reliable because it's broken, and I was asking you what was broken.
Right.
So being clear on, again, coming back to where are we at with the, so I asked you a question about I asked you a question about the marketing stuff, the DNS entries. Where are we at with that?
The what in DNS? Oh, okay. That is something I think just ask Poet. I mean, it's really the DNS, we bought that on GoDaddy. Okay. By the way, you can also have access if you like. I think it's just set up and yeah, providing DNS servers for the ClickFunnels.
Have you looked at that?
No, I haven't. No, I haven't.
Okay. I would suggest you look at it so that you okay. I filled it in for IncomeSec, right?
Right.
But it's going to require a name and an address, a trading address, and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to put it in Taiwan, and it needs to stay in Taiwan. That whole thing will then dedicate that idea 9 to JCF's DNS. You get a choice of one domain name, unless of course you pay for more, or you spin it out and have it on its own thing. So that will have a material impact on your idea. Also, your idea 9, all your marketing, it's coming off of the back of my ClickFunnels. Professionally, I think you would look much better if you were coming off of idea 9.
I think that's doable. ClickFunnels allows you to tie to different domains. I think it's
yes, you're allowed one per instance, right?
Oh, okay.
Unless you pay for the extra. So if you fill in the marketing element, right, which will enable you to do the domain names.
Okay.
If you fill it in with JCF, then that's what you're going with. So you would have to add to that an additional cost to segment out idea 9. If you wanted to do the Ascender stuff as well.
I see.
And you would make your Ascender ClickFunnels look a lot better.
Right.
With their own domain and not using the ClickFunnels one. Right.
Fully agree. I mean, I think we have three instances with the ClickFunnels 2 package. We purchased the ClickFunnels 2 package, so actually we can create three
so did I.
And
you get one domain name.
Oh, okay. Well, I have to look into that. Yeah. So.
Well, that's what they told me when I was looking at it.
Oh, okay. All right.
You get to choose. You get two options, right? You get option 1, my ClickFunnels at
Right, that's the default.
Option 2, your own domain name, and you get one domain to choose from.
I see. Okay.
So they charge you more for any more.
I see. Okay. Well, I guess I'll ask someone to look into that. Okay. Because we do have 3 what's called workspaces, right? It's yeah. Okay. All right. So
but without that, we can't put on there. You can't get the book to work because you can't have an asset, and the book is an asset.
Right.
So for that to work, for us to put on the asset, we need the marketing bit to be fulfilled, and then it would be much better to have it as .jcf.com, not
right.
No, to think of some subdomain of JCF and agree upon that.
Right. Okay. So what would that be? When just decide on the subdomain.
Well, that's it. I mean, we can choose what we want, really. What does it matter?
Okay.
It's.
doc book.
Well, I thought of. Okay, so for IncomeSec, I did business.incomesec.com. because I wanted it to be reasonably generic as a subdomain so that I could reference it for other projects as well.
Okay.
You know, if we made it a book, ebook dot, then that's specific to that particular ClickFunnels. If we wanted it to be, you know, webinar, then it would be specific to doing that. But I mean, I don't, or we could have it something more generic. I don't know. But it would actually be, it's actually not for the download. It's a subdomain that you would, you know, that, I don't know, actually. I wonder how many times we can do that. I'm not sure about that. But I chose business dot because I thought it'd be better than specific.
BUSS or BIZ, biz.
No, the word business.
Oh, okay, I see. Okay.
But you see, that's but choosing that, it's kind of like that bit is that you still got to get it sorted out on the ClickFunnels side. You still need to have the domain information and an algorithm to enable the domain.
Right.
And also, when I did that, for some reason, I first of all tried to do it manually, and then I let ClickFunnels to do it, and they did it automatically. But when they did that, they made a change on the DNS, which closed down my domain. But I didn't close it down. It just redirected my domain to another, to them.
Right.
And it went nowhere.
All right. So Mike, I think that's a lot of details. Okay. Which I don't
but it needs
pretend
to be,
I don't pretend I understand.
I mean,
right.
Yeah,
it's something Sunny or Poet can handle. Okay, it's something Sunny or Poet can handle. And Sunny probably has done it many times before. Sunny, Josh, or Poet can handle. So yeah, basically, I think I'll get Poet to work on that. Okay, so just I mean that's the who. It's not. I don't think that's my job. Okay, so I mean just make sure that it can get done. All right, but the domain biz, B-I-Z, how about biz.jcf.world?
Fine.
Okay, all right. So that's it. All right, so decisions. I think we've made. So the automated part, I think we agreed to find an existing solution, right? Is that right?
Well, it's an option, yeah.
Okay. So probably we'll let go of the custom development approach. Systems.
Well, I mean, I don't know how far you've got with it. So I think it's a bit.
Right now we can determine.
How can I make a decision on something that I know little about?
we can determine. Okay, so the thing is, it's still going to take some. It's doable, but right now it's been done by a, I would say a junior intern, kind of junior developer, who's more motivated by, at least for the time being, how much he can earn on an extra earning on a monthly basis. Okay, which is nothing wrong, nothing bad. But from my perspective, I see it's still going to take some time before it can get to a stage of being polished and usable, which takes time and effort, right? And yeah, the other filter I think I've wanting to set up is I want to start to work with professional people, now, like just professionals. Okay, so they are good they get things done. If they are being charged with a task, the next thing they report is it's done. Not about it's still halfway there, or it's still having issues. So I don't see that going with the current who. Right. So I think that's probably the existing solution. I might ask him to do the survey and the integration, okay, which will be a different use of his time. but that might be proved to be more valuable than having him do the development. Okay, so I think that's that. System stability. Current system or the booty-based thing? What is your view on that? Intuitively.
Well, I think the booty base thing only really works if we can tie it together with something else, which makes it all automated.
What? If what? I didn't quite get that.
If we can tie it in with something which makes it all automated, then that works, right?
No. Okay. Just to clarify, JCF has two system components. One is the actual portfolio management. Okay, that is kind of the back end, how our assets are entering, exiting positions. Okay, that is something that can run independently, separated from the user interface and the account system. You see, they are actually two separate systems, and there's good reason, also security reason for that. Meaning that even if our front-end system is compromised, even destroyed, okay, nothing happens to the assets. Okay, there are two separate systems, and it was designed that way intentionally.
Okay.
So what I'm talking about.
So what's the relevance of booty basing? Why?
The relevance is control and whether can be, if we want to update or change or maintain, it will be, there's more flexibility in terms of adding,
of course.
Interface,
go for that.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That answers that question.
Flexibility
However,
and control. Flexibility and control, right?
Yeah. That makes sense, but it's still, from the design element, I think it doesn't,
it doesn't look as nice, good, right? Yeah, I agree. But then again, when people are after profit, I think they were willing to, right? If this is really valuable.
Yeah, but sadly, people will judge a book by its cover.
Which is true. We'll have a super nice looking website then, right?
Takes time and effort.
Or a who?
It's still going to take time and effort, no matter who it is.
By that who, but not by us for sure.
Well, it's still going to take time and effort.
Still going to find a who,
and they're still going to ask. They're still going to ask questions like, "How do you want it? Where do you want this to be like?" They're still going to want all of those answers, all of those questions, which are going to be things that you're going to have to answer, you and I.
Right.
Okay. So there's still going to be questions that we have to answer. So we still have to be involved. So it's not outsourcing it 100%. So we don't think about it.
Okay. All right. Good. So anyway, at least three things. Strategy improvement, which already, is survey automation solution, system stability, basically rebuild the system with booty base. Funnel, fixing domain. And I guess
the funnel won't go anywhere until we've got that marketing bit sorted.
Okay, sure. All right, fantastic. Any last bits?
No. Okay. This has been 2 hours.
Yes. Is it well spent though?
Yeah, I'm going to eat something because I've been intermittent fasting today.
All right. So by the way, just to check with you, I suggest that we remove the Thursday sync unless it's necessary. Is that something you think will work?
Well, the only challenge, Shinyan, with all of this is one of the reasons why we're not getting moving as quickly as possible is because we don't spend a lot of time dealing with stuff. So
we have
how much
today,
time
right?
have we spent?
We have today, right?
Well, yeah, sort of.
And these are major
But
progress, right?
we probably could have dealt with stuff a lot quicker had we not gone off on tangents. You know, and then if you sit there and go, right, well, okay, so today the meeting must be about goal achievement. Today, you know, tomorrow the meeting can be about milestones. The meeting on the next day will be about strategy, and you know, and so on and so forth.
Okay.
And then it's about, because if we don't do that, we don't achieve the goals, then all that we've got is just nice ideas.
Right. But let's say if next week by this time, what we just said, and those to-dos, I think they're on my to-do list, right? If they can all be done, would you say that's a major progress?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Right? We have a new system, we have an automated solution with new interface, right?
Yeah.
And also we have a fixed
Yeah.
funnel, right? That would be major progress, right?
Yeah.
For 1 week, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
That
sure.
would be my goal and challenge then.
Okay.
And I think it's feasible. And the reason is that right now my daytime are fully removed. You know, I actually have condensed my schedule quite a bit. So
Okay, cool.
all right. I'm trying to practice. Yeah. I'm trying to practice deeper, less, but better. You know, kind of thinking work process. So yeah, and we should all have something to eat. So bon appetit.
Cheers, mate. Right.
So next week, next Monday, same time then, right?
Yeah, 11 o'clock.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Perfect.
Take care.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. Take care. Bye.